What a no holds barred match we have ahead of ourselves. You know, for Shane, he's always felt like he's had a chip on his shoulder being the son of Mr. McMahon, being the rich, being the rich boy that gets handed everything. But that has never been the case for Shane O'Mac. Always throws caution to the wind. Meanwhile, his opponent, third generation superstar, a legend killer, Randy Orton. And Randy Orton usually goes for a much slower pace. And knowing that, Shane McMahon going for a much faster striking pace, going after Randy Orton. And now it's Randy Orton who strikes at Shane McMahon. But every time that Randy Orton strikes at his opponents, when he goes slow and he strikes with a purpose. And that's what Randy Orton's all about. Giving meaning to every punch that's thrown, every kick. Meanwhile, Shane McMahon starting to fight back. With no holds barred, this is kind of up McMahon's territory. Shane has competed in some pretty hellacious matches. And this is set to be another one. And a baseball slide takes out Randy Orton. Shane known to sacrifice himself, saying he will sacrifice every part of his body if that's what it takes to beat Randy Orton. Meanwhile, Shane McMahon now introducing a table into this match and now a trash can. You gotta wonder, how far is Shane McMahon willing to go? We've seen how far he's willing to go in the past. But Randy Orton is quite the opponent for Shane O'Mac. Oh, and Orton driving McMahon into the apron. Randy Orton, a three-time world champion, winning his first championship at the age of just 24 years old, making him the youngest world champion in WWE history. Orton looking to pulverize McMahon here tonight. And what a boot to the midsection. Orton picking up McMahon. Backdrop suplex takes out Shane. Things are starting to slow down to a pace that Randy Orton likes. No holds barred. This is legal. Randy Orton's all free to go to pull off that top turnbuckle pad. The referee may not like it and may show his dislike for it, but there's nothing the official can do about it. In a normal match, this would be a disqualification, but with no holds barred, anything goes, and the upper back of Shane McMahon meets that metal turnbuckle. Absolutely brutal. And that could do a lot of damage to your neck. I mean, that could paralyze you if done correctly. And if there's one thing we know about Randy Orton, who is very methodical, I don't think he'd want to give Shane O'Mac the luxury of paralysis. He wants McMahon to feel every ounce of pain endured. And Randy Orton just taking his time. Meanwhile, Shane found a kendo stick under the ring. I don't think they sell that at Home Depot like the rest of the things. I was for sure and for certain that there was a Home Depot store under the WWE ring here at No Way Out. but I don't think you can get a kendo stick at your local Home Depot. Meanwhile, Shane McMahon beating Orton to a pulp with it. And another shot. And Orton, who's had it for the McMahon family, attacking Mr. McMahon. Shane McMahon wants revenge. So there's a lot of emotion driven into this. Shane O'Mac always feeling he's been that next of kin when it comes to the McMahon family business, wanting to stick up for his father. Meanwhile, Orton's face says it. Who's been feeling the pain and now gets clotheslined by Shane on the floor. Oh boy, things are about to pick up. And now the announce desk. This is what intensity is about. You have to go to extreme lengths. When you have an opponent as tough as Randy Orton, the TV monitor in hand, boom! The sound of that wicked thud of that metal from the TV monitor cracking the skull of Randy Orton. And Orton has been busted open. With Randy Orton now busted open, the lifeless Orton being laid out on the announce desk with blood rushing down his face. Another sound of that crack on the skull of Randy Orton. And Orton. Oh no. No. Shane's not going to do this. Oh, come on. And DiBiase and Rhodes, the legacy, attacking Shane O'Mac. With anything goes. It's all legal. The referee can only watch as DiBiase and Rhodes take care of Shane O'Mac. We can only imagine what Shane McMahon was going to do. And that, like I said, now we will only be able to imagine because Rhodes and DiBiase made sure whatever was going to happen didn't. One for the steel. Oh, Shane McMahon able to turn around and DiBiase took the brunt of the force. And Rhodes goes down with a DDT into the steel chair. Absolutely brutal. Meanwhile, Stephanie McMahon watching this in the back on the monitor, looking to see how things play out for her older brother. What does Shane McMahon have in mind? Look at Orton, though. Blood is still rushing down the face of the Legend Killer. Oh, my God. And this connects. I think I know what Shane O'Mac is thinking. A man who throws caution to the wind. He calls it going coast to coast. This is something to behold. Coast to coast. Shane taken out. Cody Rhodes. Rhodes taken out by Shane O'Mac. But Randy Orton, who's still laid out. And now with Orton being lifeless. Shane, you don't have to do this. Don't do it. Shane. Orton played possum. Oh my. Absolutely brutal. Meanwhile, Orton's face is covered in blood. Shane McMahon is laid out after Orton played a little bit of possum. You had to know that Orton had enough time to regroup in that situation. Cody Rhodes definitely in a completely different dimension after this. Let's get another look at this coast to coast. Absolutely devastating. Just brutal. And DiBiase checking on Randy Orton. And Orton barking orders, telling DiBiase to get Cody Rhodes out of here, making sure he's okay. Let's get another look at this attempt from Shane McMahon. Off the top, thinking that elbow drop to Orton on the announce desk. Meanwhile, Orton had enough time to roll out of harm's way. And Shane McMahon now struggling to pull himself back up. And now Randy Orton has his full attention set on Shane McMahon. And now Orton going to that place. And vintage Randy Orton with that DDT off the middle rope. Pulls the leg back for the cover. And Shane kicks out at 2, able to get the shoulder up. And again, Orton goes for the cover. And once again, Shane kicks out. And this time, Orton pulls back both legs. And again, Shane powers out at 2. Orton starting to express a little bit of frustration. You saw the maniacal eyes of Randy Orton just before he was going for that DDT. And you can see that table just staring Orton in the eyes. Orton wanting to do anything he can possibly do to inflict as much pain on the McMahon family. He's already done damage to Mr. McMahon. And now it's Shane's turn. Shane wanted to get revenge for his father, avenging Mr. McMahon. But Randy Orton has other plans in mind now that he is about to set up the very table that Shane introduced into this match, but never got the chance to do anything with as of yet. Meanwhile, Randy Orton going to take advantage of the opportunity. What in the world could Randy Orton possibly be thinking? And now perching Shane McMahon up on the top. And Randy Orton wants to make sure that Shane McMahon is begging for mercy, screaming and crying for his life. But you got to know that that's not the kind of person that Shane O'Mac is. Shane O'Mac is the type of person who has no fear, who will throw his body around, fight to the death. Meanwhile, it might be to the death of this superplex to the table connect from Randy Orton. That could be the nail in the coffin, but Orton taking some effects as well. Orton unable to capitalize right away. Orton feeling the effects of that superplex to the table as well. It goes both ways. Let's get a look at this. Orton went through that, might have gone through that table more than Shane did. Orton gets the cover on Shane, but Shane able to kick out. Orton just in too much pain to get to that cover right away after that superplex through the table. Just bashing the back of the head into that broken table. Orton with an intent to kill. Now going after the ankles. The sadistic style of Randy Orton. More diabolical than he's ever been. And a knee drop right on the face of Shane. And Orton once again crawls for the covers. He pulls the leg back. Will it do? And it does not, as Shane O'Mac gets the shoulder up before the 3. And now Randy Orton has his eyes set. Oh no. I get the feeling that Randy Orton maybe looking to decapitate Mr. McMahon's son. The eyes. That punt, and caught Orton, just decking Orton. Desperation move from Shane O'Mac, realizing his career and life were in jeopardy and had to pull a last gasp effort. Let's get another look at this. Orton was looking for that punt. Meanwhile, Shane McMahon just had to take down Randy Orton. Push comes to shove. And Shane McMahon dug down deep when it was a very critical point for him. Shane now has that chair in hand. And a shot to the spine of Randy Orton. Orton writhing in pain. The unforgiving steel of that chair now being dropped on the ankle of the Legend Killer. As much brutality as Randy Orton causes, Shane McMahon knows how to dish it right back with another shot with a chair to the ankle of Randy Orton. Shane looking to break apart the ankle of Randy Orton, who is screaming in pain. I think Shane might make Randy Orton cry and scream. And now Shane, one more chair shot. And Orton begging for mercy. How ironic. Orton wanting to be the one to make Shane beg for mercy. This time, Shane had Orton begging for mercy. The irony of it all as Shane looks to put down Orton once and for all, measuring up Orton to get back up to his feet. Shane showing just how badly he wants this. And will Shane close this one out? Oh, Shane's gonna dish out a bit of Randy Orton's own medicine. Give Randy Orton a taste of it. Put an RKO instead. And the Viper has struck and wins this brutal no-holds-barred match. If Shane McMahon had successfully connected with that punt to Randy Orton, the result might have been different, but Orton knew when to strike. Like a Viper, Orton struck with an RKO for the 1, 2, 3. But at what cost? Because the wounds tell the damage that this match has done to Randy Orton in the process of trying to take out Shane McMahon. The sound of that monitor to the skull of Randy Orton. Talk about some long-term damage. That'll rattle you. And then Shane will continue to pick up some momentum early on, that coast-to-coast to Cody. And then this was perhaps one of the bigger mistakes for Shane in this match that really took a lot out of him, and that was that elbow drop off the top where Randy Orton was able to get off the table just in time. And then from tables to chairs, Shane hit Randy Orton with a chair. Shane was measuring up for that punt kick Randy Orton has made famous, but Randy Orton would catch Shane O'Mac with an RKO. to survive this no holds barred match. Orton still looking vindictively at Shane O'Mac as he crawls out of the ring. I'm glad this one's over. I don't know if I could have endured to watch any more of this brutality that these two, this punishment these two were putting each other through. And Randy Orton continues to show just how dangerous of a threat he is here in the WWE